Hi everyone, yep, my favorite pastime that is none other than to play a liquid AIO. Based on the fact why I like it so much is because my room temperature is always 30 to 31 degrees Celsius. Though I have a fan that would cool me off, right now it's actually off, just to have a clear audio. Now, today I will be presenting to you the ROG Ryou 4 SL360 ARGB from Asus. Thanks to Asus to have provided this unit for me to share with you guys. Now, I've not been doing unboxing for a very long time, so I'll just go through with you guys. Okay, by the way, this package in fact is wrapped with plastic. And this is sealed. So I'm just gonna cut it. Now I've not seen what's inside the content, so I might make mistakes here and there, so bear with me. Okay, this is open. Let's see what we have inside. Okay, a instruction manual. Okay, is this removable? Yep. We have this. Okay, hope I don't damage the unit. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. This is the AMOLED screen. Okay, I'll just take it out later. Then we have the accessory kit. Wow, pretty simple. I believe these are the AMD standoffs, which you need to remove some stuff on your motherboard and to put this in. Wow, this is nice. The Intel backplate. Okay. Tube holder. Nice, you have a logo. I believe this is some kind of standoffs. Did it drop off? Yep, I guess so. The standoffs, this is meant for, I believe these are meant for Intel, which I'll go through with you guys later. The radiator screws, well, all packed nicely. Okay, not going to remove. More instruction manual. Yep. The technical updates and such. Oh, leaflet of stickers. Nice. Oh, by the way, the ROG VIP card. And we have the whole unit. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to show you later on how I'm going to take this. I wouldn't want to break the box and so. During the unboxing, as I briefly go through, I was correct. Right after I read the instruction manual and the specification, these are meant for AMD platform, where it supports AM4 or AM5, and this is supposed to mount on your motherboard before you can mount the whole pump to it. And this definitely are for the Intel, where you have the spacer and the backplate. So when you place this underneath the motherboard itself, right, this is to plug it in, as in like the spacer to hold the whole backplate. Now speaking about the backplate, Asus have done a very good job, as in this whole piece, right, besides the logo and labeling, this is made of metal, and they did double-sided tape so that when you place this to your motherboard, the back, it will not drop off. And one thing shocking is that this only support Intel 1700. That's all. It doesn't support any 11.5X or such. So if you intend to get this unit, make sure it's only for, I mean on Intel, right, make sure it's only for 1700 socket. Take note on this. And as usual, this is the tube holder with a nice crest. Now, moving on to the AMOLED display. This is very massive. The whole unit itself display not only the top but at the side, and the whole screen, right, is in fact 6.67 inch. That's right, it's pretty big. As you can see, it's pretty massive. Now the design of it is pretty unique too. See the attention to details, they have done this. And at the rear, an amazing part is at the bottom, they did the design too. And they are thoughtful too, because AMOLED display, right, normally will generate heat, so there are some ventilator holes over here. And this piece over here, right, is in fact magnetic. And right over here, a very nice transparent, or should I say translucent, where it says AI. So it's depending on where you place this unit. And right at the end, you have this cable, which is long enough to reach to your motherboard USB 2.0 header. And this is of a 9-pin USB connector. Nicely done. Now, just this screen itself, how is the measurement like? Well, I have not really do the measurements beforehand. In fact, I was looking at the specification, but I couldn't find it, so I just measure right in front of you. Now, for the length of this, it's at 120. Okay, it's in fact to here, 120 millimeter. Right, and the height is at 72 millimeter. And as for the width, this is about 84 to 85 millimeter. So this is how massive this unit is. Now coming to the main unit, how this is being mounted to the main unit. See, you have this massive thing where you have this opening over here. So what you do is, once you have done all the mounting and such, right, you can just place the whole block in, and you'll be in place. As mentioned to you, beneath this, right, there's a magnet, so you can just pull it out. See, it's that easy. And speaking of this unit, right, this is the housing for the screen, and at the back you have a Velcro stripe. You can remove this if you want to, but I'm not going to remove that. And one thing good about this, right, this is swivelable. See, and there's a reason why they have done this, because when you're mounting this whole block to your IHS or to on the motherboard itself, right, the screws, as you can see, is blocked, so you can just swivel and you expose the screws. You can just use your long screwdriver. You will need a long screwdriver to screw the block to the mounting itself. Nicely done. So just to show you the frame, see, this is how it looks like. And the pump block itself, right at the bottom, is with a pre-paste. Okay, I hope I don't destroy the pre-paste. See, with the ROG. Okay, I'm just gonna put this back. Now at all times, right, for be it whether Intel or AMD, you don't have to remove off this bracket. Okay, this is removable. Okay, I'm not gonna remove it. You can leave it as it is, be it whether you're mounting Intel or AMD. Now, for the specification of this pump, okay, it's running 1800 to 3200 RPM, and for the technology, it's in fact using Asus Generation 7 B2. That's right. And this pump, right, has only one connection point, which is meant for your pump, and it's of 4-pin PWM, and you can control the pump RPM too. Now if I were to plug this in, right, this is very massive. Now I'm not going to calculate the width and the length. Instead, I'm going to calculate the height, which, my goodness, this is very massive. Okay, it's roughly around 130 millimeter. Okay, from the top to the bottom. This is how tall it is. So make sure you have a big place and big clearance. Okay, let me just remove this. I wouldn't want to scratch the screen. Now these holes here, right, are attached to the center of the radiator, as you can see, and this is swivelable. Alright, and when you swivel, right, please be careful not to hold on to the tube. Make sure you hold on to the butt and to swivel. Alright, you can swivel. See, it's very stiff, but you will be able to swivel. So make sure that you hold on to the butt and swivel. Don't hold on to the hose. You might break the butt. And it's nicely braided with the tube is nicely braided, and this is only 200mm. So assuming, okay, let me just take this out. Assuming that you have placed this in the case, right? This is facing the back of the case. This is the front of the case. So the unit goes like that. Oops. See? Pretty cool. Now, I will talk about the radiator first before the fans. In fact, the fans are pre-installed on the radiator. I just want to show you how massive this is. The measurement of the radiator is at 394mm by 140mm. This is very massive, so make sure that your case is wide enough to cater for. And the only way to mount this liquid AO is at the top of a case. That's all. You can't mount at the side or such, due to the fact the holes are pretty short, which is 200mm. And as for the height of the radiator, this is at 32mm. So if you were to plug the fans in, which has a height of 25mm, total will give you a 57mm thickness. And for the fin stack, as I measured at 1 inch, there are a total of 20 fins per inch. Now the construction of the whole radiator is made of aluminium, and it has a logo embedded over here, ROG. Only one side, but not the other side. Okay, let me just place this one side. Okay, this is rather flimsy, I should say, as in like the pump block. Okay, now coming to the fan, as you can see here, right, a total of 320mm fans. This is the back where it draws air through here and towards the radiator. And these are all ARGB fans, and there are total of 7 blades on each fans. Okay, with a very nice crest. Now, as these are daisy chainable, as you can see, I'm holding. Right at the end, you have only 2 connection points. One which is the ARGB, the other which is the 4-pin PWM connector. Now, these are detachable, but when you detach, right, please be very careful. Just press on one side. Okay, when you press on one side, right, you will let go one side, then press it up. Okay, I'll show you again. This is fixed. So use your thumb to support the first fan, and your index finger and your middle finger, right, to the second fan. Push it down a bit till it comes out. Okay, but don't pull it. Then switch your index finger, or should I say middle finger, to the first fan, and the thumb to the bottom. Push it out. Okay, this is how the mechanism look like. And as for the fan structure, right, it's very sturdy. It doesn't wobble. And when I swivel, right, see, it's very nice. Now, the design of the fan is pretty unique, as this ARGB, when it diffuse out, it will beam out to the sides. See? Same goes to the rest of the fans. It's the same. And this is how it looks like from the front and from the back, where you have these pins to connect the daisy chain. So when you daisy chain them, right, you just plug. Pretty straightforward. And each of these fans have 4 anti-vibration grommets, which is also in details. The fan is fantastically detailed. Same goes to the other side. You have the anti-vibration rubber grommets. Now, as for the specification of the fan, these are 12 DC fans, or should I say the fan model is the ROG Ryou 4MF12C ARGB. Yep, you can see over here. And each fan is running off 12 DC and has an amperage of 0.3 ampere. And for the LED of each fan, right, is 5 volt. Okay, and for the RPM, minimum run is 800, maximum run is 2650 RPM. Mounting for Intel platform, kindly note you can only do it on a 1700 socket. You will need the backplate and the 4 spacer. First thing, plug your processor in, turn your motherboard over. I'm just going to zoom in. Now on the backplate itself, you will have this 2 plastic cover which is in blue. Remove it, as this is the double-sided tape. I would advise to place it having this threads which is protruding out to the holes to be this way. Okay, having the wording upright, so that this 2 double-sided tape, right, will tape onto the bracket over here. So if you do this, see, the double-sided tape will bite, or should I say stick, to the full metal panel over here. If you do it this way, it does stick, but partially. So kindly do it this way. Once you have done that, turn over. Now next thing you will need to do is to place the spacer. For the spacer, it doesn't matter whether is it this way or this way. There are no directions for this. Just put this 4 spacer to the 4 threads. Okay, now once this is done, use alcohol, clean the processor, wipe it clean. Next thing is mount the block. Now as for the block, there is pre-paste. I'm not going to remove this and to show you, just show you an illustration, okay, as I'm going to make use of this on AMD. So what you need to do is to anchor, okay, each side have this mounting board, so align to the threads over here. There are 4 points. So once you have placed it down, right, okay, move this so that you can see the 4 screws. Okay, let me just see if I could adjust. Okay, see, you can see the 4 screws. Next thing you need to do, take your screwdriver, screw alternately. Okay, reason being, right, you want to have a balanced pressure to between the cold plate to your IHS. Once that's done, assume this is done. Next thing to do, oh, I hate this, is to plug the pump connector, which is a 4-pin PWM. You will need to plug it to the motherboard, which I know that at the top over here there are 3. This is CPU underscore fan, and this is AIO underscore pump. So I'll plug it over here. So at all times, as I mentioned, right, okay, probably I will just zoom in. The pump block, assuming is fitted in, the pump block, the connector, plug it to the AIO pump. AIO underscore pump. Next, you will need to plug the radiator fans. You have the 4-pin PWM and the 3-pin ARGB. Starting off with the 4-pin PWM, plug it to CPU underscore fan and not CPU underscore, okay, plug it to the CPU underscore fan and not to the CPU underscore op. If you plug to the CPU underscore op, you can't control the RPM through UEFI, and this CPU underscore op will take instruction only from the CPU underscore fan. So make sure you plug the radiator fans to the CPU underscore fan. Once this is done, you will need to plug the 3-pin ARGB connector. So there are 2 over here. I'll just plug it in, And for the final step, okay, let me just get this in. The alignment of the 3-pin 5V, right, it's always daunting. Okay, done. The final step, which is your screen. Okay, probably I'll zoom out. The last step is your screen. Plug the USB connector over here to your USB 2.0 header. So I'll just plug it in. So as mentioned to you, right, assuming this is already in place. Okay, this is already in place. The final step is to plug this in, and it's done. For AMD platform, be it AM4 or AM5, it's the same mounting. But before I do so, take a look at the legend. This is the fan header, which is CPU_fan. And over here, right, at the top, this is CPU op. And at the bottom, this is the AIO pump. And these two are the 3-pin ARGB connectors. I'll be using the top one. Now, to mount it, all is needed, take your screwdriver, unscrew this 4 screws, you can take out the bracket. And we take out the bracket, retain the screws. You will need back the screws. Then taking this, which is provided, the AMD brackets, or should I say standoffs, you see that there is this arrow sign that points CPU. Make sure it's pointing towards the CPU when you mount it. So you'll be mounting it this way, okay, and not this way. This is incorrect. So once you have placed this in place, take those screws that you retain, plug it back in, and to make use of the screwdriver to screw it in. Now the way that I do it is pretty straightforward, as in like when I screw this in, right, I will not do over tightening. It's like once it stops, I will stop. Okay, it's just gentle motion on all the 4 points first. This is called anchoring. Reason to do this, right, if you were to over tighten one side, this will lift up, so giving it uneven pressure, which you will want to avoid. So most of the time I'll just hand tighten, make sure it stops, and I will not over tighten it. So once you know that all are in place, okay, all are in place, then I'll do a final with a tightening, which is 1/4 of the screw. And this is done. Next step, we'll be taking alcohol to clean with the wipe it dry. And once that's done, right, next step is your pump. So to do that, since this is pre-placed, you don't have to clean here. Take this off, align this 4 holes to the thread. So take your time, put this one side. Okay, once it's in place, right, adjust this so that you can see the screw board. I will just hold on here. Okay, at all times, make sure you hold on the top. Do not press it too much, just holding it, giving it just even pressure, so when you screw it down, right, it will be evenly. And do it alternately. So let's say I'll do it here. Okay, I will anti-clockwise till I hear a click. So this will tell me that it will sit. See, it sits. Then I'll turn 1 turn. Same goes to here, which is alternate, anti-clockwise till I hear a click. Then I'll turn. Same goes to this, and I'll turn. And here, I'll turn. Now you can do 2 rounds of each, but for me, right, I want it balanced, so I'll just do it slowly. As there's always a saying, slow and steady will win the race. What I'm doing right now, in fact, is to have a even pressure of the cold plate to the IHS. And as mentioned, right, at all times, this finger here, right, is holding on to the cold plate so that it will not run. Okay, by now it's quite tight, so I can just continue on. till it stops. And when it stops, right, do not screw it further. Okay, done. Next step to do, plug the pump. So I know the pump is over here. As mentioned to you, this is AIO pump. So I'll plug it over here. Followed by your fan connection. One which is for your radiator fan, which is to be plugged here. Okay, you can't really see it. If you can't see, right, you can just move this and you can plug this in. And I'll do advise that during this operation, right, it's best to take out the ramps so that this is not in the way. So it just happened that I'm too lazy. Okay, this is done. And the final step, which is your ARGB. Plug it to the ARGB header, which is right at the top over here. Now everything is completed except for the last step, which is for, okay, let me just adjust this a while, do pardon me. The last step will be the screen where you have this connection point. Plug this USB connector to the motherboard header. Once you've done this, next step, we'll be placing the screen to the housing. And this is done. This is the application which controls the beautiful screen on my right. As you can see, the AMOLED, which is a 2K display. On this interface, you will see the setup of the screen, which I will take you later, and you show you all the stats, which you can see over here. On setting, you can set this language to the language that you wanted to see. See, it will change. So at all times, I'll just leave it English. The temperature you can select to display whether Fahrenheit or degrees Celsius. And as for launch on startup, now I've tested this. You will need to launch this every time when you boot to Windows. If not, all your settings on the screen, right, will be gone. So take note on this. And as for close button, which is referring to this X mark over here, you either choose to minimize or to exit. Next will be the standby mode. I wouldn't know what this is for. You can read it. I'll just leave it as it is. Now, as for screen recording, you can save the recordings that you want to display on the screen, right, to your selective folder, which over here I'll just leave it as it is. Shortcut settings, if you fancy to do the screen recording or to minimize the labels and such. For lock, I believe this is for troubleshooting. And as for app version and the firmware version, all this you can just click and it will take you to the page to see if you have any latest download. You can download it, or if you have firmware, right, you can just do a firmware. A very hefty, or should I say a neat tool. Now back to here, whereby I show you all the display over here. You can click on screen settings. Now as you can see here, right, by default when you load the Liquid AIO without this application, it will show you this screen. You can change this screen, as you can see, to apply. See, it will reflect on the screen. If you are to set this and to apply, it will reflect another screen. Of course, you can add, the screen that you wanted, or should I say the image that you wanted. Let's say for example this. Okay, and you proportion the size properly. When you hit done, and you will add. See, it will take some time to load. Once added, you will be in the list and you can just apply. And as you can see, it display on the display on the LCD itself. Now next, you can set all this with temperature. So if you want to display, you can select all the boxes over here, as you can see. So let's say I want to set this to display CPU temperature. scroll down and have a look. Okay, temperature, CPU. See, it will display. Right now you won't see, you won't see on the screen itself, but when I click on apply, right, see, it displays. So by selecting this, right, you can just display whatever you want. Take for example, right now after the temperature, I want to show the maybe the okay, time, date, and to apply. Or if you don't want this, right, you want to put it smaller, you can drag and drop. That's the thing. And when you apply, it will just move. Then let's say you want to display the frequency of the system. Okay, you can just drag and drop and to apply. This is how easy it is. Now, this is in fact the top of the screen, and this is in fact the other section of the screen. So if I want to, right, I can also add stuff like, let's see, maybe on the where do I have the AIO pump frequency? Let's see. Okay, over here. So you can just put here, or maybe you want the temperature of your motherboard at the top, or maybe you want the voltage on your CPU. Then when you click on apply, see what happened? The other section of the screen will show. So this is how it is. Now, to record things, you can do that too. You can just click on record. Okay, this is actually for the background. So assuming that I am doing this, okay, with the mouse. So when I just hit start recording and to stop, okay, video is being saved. So when it's saved, right, I can just add, and of course you will need to add the folder that you recorded, and you can do the frame if you want to. So just click on next, done. So when you select the recording that you've done and you click on apply, right, see what happened to the screen? It will just show. So these are just some of the brief introduction that I will show you. Now for speed, right, you can control the display individually at the top and at the side. Let's say at the top you want something like, let's see, okay, maybe this. Okay, I'll just leave it as it is. See, it will display. Then let's say you want this section to be another picture, you can add. You can add your own recording, own MP4, etc. It's all up to you. This is just a short demo just to show you. Okay, take for example, I'm using this. Okay, just to display this. Take for example, done. Okay, I select on the wrong one, see? Okay, my bad. Okay, apply again so that you can see on the screen. So you can see that the top section, right, is with this display. On the other section at the bottom is in black. So I'm just going to add this. Okay, I'm just going to adjust this. Towards the corner. So you only take the section, this is only the section area where you want to display. So when you click on done, right, you will import again. Once it's done, see, but make sure that you apply. If you don't apply, right, it's not going to display. As you can see on the display, it doesn't display, right? You have to click on apply. All right. Or if you want to test things out, right, take for example, okay, let me just go to here. Let's say you want to see this, right, you can press on preview and see what's going on, how it looks like. You happy with it, just click on apply. See, it will show. So these are the basic function. Now the thing is that these are all fixed. You can't move the location. So do take note on that. You can do changes on, animated screen and such. And of course, this text color, if you want to change, right, you can do this. Text color, let's say you want something yellow. See, it will change. You want the text to be another color, you can also change, which I will do this. See, And again, once you have done all the changes, right, make sure you click on apply. So this is actually how it works. And if you do not want the screen to display, you can just turn it off. See, my screen will turn it off instantly. You don't have to hit apply. You want it back, just click it to turn on. So this is the basic function of all this. I'm not going to go through everything, but just to let you have a caption. Going to conduct a sound test on the pump and on the radiator fans, be it on idle or on load. Now do take note that my pump is running at full speed, which is 100%. You can read the readings over here, which is hovering around 3000 plus. Now this is my microphone. Going to do a sound test. I'm going to place the microphone near the pump. And this is how it sounds like when my pump is running at full speed most of the time. I will be removing the microphone and to place it on this stand. Going to do another sound test. My microphone is away from the pump about half a feet and away from the radiator fans about 1 feet. This is at idle. I'm going to launch Cinebench and to run and to let you listen to the load. Here we go. This is back to idle, and this is how it sounds like. Again, I'm going to ramp up the Cinebench, and this is how it sounds like at load. Here we go. Indeed, during the load time, the fan ramp up and you can hear the noise. But don't forget, my microphone is away from the pump about half a feet and away from the fans is about 1 feet. If I'm going to place this inside a case during idle time, I can't hear a single thing. Because where I'm standing right now is 1 meter. This is open bench. So imagine if this is inside the case, I won't hear anything. But when it ramps up to 100% load, that's where the fan will ramp up. But still, it's not that noisy. Because as I mentioned, the microphone away from the fans are at 1 feet. So if you place this inside the case and away about 1 meter, you can only hear a hum noise and not sharp pitch. Now I'm just going to do the thermal test on this. See how much it can cater. Just for your reference, my room temperature is 30.2 degrees Celsius. I have not turned on the aircon and such. And I want to test how much this liquid cooler can tame a 9950X 3D and such. To make this slightly more interesting, I will be competing the Asus Liquid AIO with this Liquid Freezer 2 from Arctic. And do bear in mind that I've changed out the fans. These are not the original fans from Arctic. In fact, they are the Gentle Typhoon. And as for the thermal paste, I will be using the MS6, as this does not have a pre-paste. Now, as mentioned to you, I just want to spice up the experience with you guys based on the fact that you know that all my content, right, be it motherboard, be it liquid cooler, be it any thermal test and such, right, I've been using this Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 360 and it has never failed me based on the fact that I've changed out the fans to the Gentle Typhoon that has high static pressure. So all this while I'm getting very good thermal. And it's actually my all-time favorite. With this said, right, I wanted to see how well this ROG Ryou 4 SL360 ARGB Liquid Cooler do. Is it gonna outperform this Arctic or is it not? Now, do note that this at the background, right, in fact is a recording. I've done 6 times, okay, 6 times, no joke, on this Arctic Liquid Freezer 2360. And with this 6 times, right, I'll explain to you why I did 6 times later. So among the 6, right, I pick up the best, and so sorry I screw up only a bit on the boost clock and the base clock, which is supposed to reflect over here. Okay, let me just pull. Okay, so I accidentally took the best and delete the rest. Ending up, I found that the recordings are not here, so I got to apologize for you. I can't give you the base clock and the boost clock, but I will make use of the Ryzen Master with the peak clock. Alright, with this say, right, back to where I was. These are the system specs that I'll be using, as in like the 9950X 3D processor, and this is the motherboard, the RAMs, and the PBO2 limits with the curve optimizer and the curve shaper. You can pause this and have a look. Now, why am I setting this? Based on the fact that I show you my temperature, which is 30 degrees Celsius. I wouldn't want to push my processor all the way up to 5.5 gig or so. So for me, right, as a margin, right, 5 gig or 5.1 gig or 5.2 gig will be just nice. So it depends on the cooler, how much it provide the cooling. With this said, starting off with Arctic, I'll just run. Now as you can see, I'm using Ryzen Master to show you the stats and running on the benchmark, right, which is the Cinebench R23 and Firmark. Reason for me to do so, right, based on the fact that I wanted to make use of the integrated graphic on the processor together with the processor. So when it do the load, right, it's both stressing on the processor. So that will show me how good the liquid cooler is. And besides this, right, all these stats that you see is making use of hardware info and also reverb tuner just to pull it out. Now, the first few minutes, nothing much, yep, hovering around here. Let me take you to the last 3 minutes. Oh, by the way, this is Arctic Liquid Freezer, right? You can see the diagram over here. So it's around here, okay. Now at the last 3 minutes, when I look at it, right, wow, thermal is around 80 degrees Celsius, 78, 80 degrees Celsius, but most of the time I see is actually around 80 degrees Celsius. And with this say, right, I've done a nice chart, see? So I'll take down all the readings and I'll compare with the Asus. So right now, CPU power is at 167. The SoC voltage, which is down here, 1.176. Okay, 1.176. Okay, peak clock is around 1. Okay, I will just take the full figure. Okay, it drops. Okay, I'll take it. Okay, 5.09, the max. And for all this pool, right, the actual pool, though I've set the PB, TDC and EDC with the limits, right, it doesn't mean that it will pull straight. As I mentioned to you, it depends on the cooling on the liquid cooler. So with this say, right, I'll just take down the readings. The active PVT 196. Okay, this is at, let's see, 158, no, 160. Okay, max. Then I'll take 161. CPU temperature, which is down here, 80 degrees Celsius. Okay, I'll just give it, 80.4. Alright, I'll put 80.2 then. Then coming to the rest of the temperature, like the motherboard, which is taken from here, 42. The VRM, 53. The chipset, 57.4. And the two RAMs over here, 42.8 and 43.2. And last but not least, the M.2, which is 40 degrees Celsius. Now for the score, okay, let me try to pull and see if I could get that right. Okay, yep, okay, got it. So for the score will be 43788. Okay, this is the score. Alright, now coming to ASUS. Okay, all the specs and the settings are the same, no diff. So as I run, Setting not so much, it's just per normal. So let me just pull you to the last 3 minutes. Okay, it should be around here. Okay, I'll just let it run. Again, I'm just going to take down all the stats, which is this. Power drawn 167. Alright, then for the CPU recall, it's 1. Wow, this is higher, 1.184. And as for the peak, it's at 5.118. I saw that 120. Okay, I'll just take it at 5.118 then. Okay, I'll take it average 5.120. Alright, I mean it did pull up and up, but it's just that to me, you see it drops and it pulls, so I just put it as a margin as 5.12. Okay, proceed on with the PPT and TDC and such, the active ones, which is over here 195. Okay, then with the TDC is at 158 and the EDC is 162 or 160. Hang on. Okay, 160. CPU temperature 76.5. Okay, let me just wait for a while and take a look. 76.2, 76. Okay, I'll just leave it at 76.5. Okay, you see yourself, alright? Then for the motherboard, which is over here, 44 degrees Celsius, VRM is 59. Then for the chipset is 59.2, and for the DDR5 is at 48.2 and 47.5, and the M.2 is 42 degrees Celsius. And as for the score, okay, gotta pull. You should be okay, got it. The score over here is 43,986. Okay, I'll be talking to you about the results on both of this. Okay, have a look. Now, I have mentioned to you that I've done 6 times with Arctic Liquid Freezer 2. As I dismount and mount, dismount, repaste. I mean, it's like, you know, the sequence of dismount, clean up, repaste, and multi-back, do the test again. You know, keep on doing it 6 times, and I pick the actual one, which is the best, which is hovering around 80 degrees Celsius, as you can see over here. Cause reason being, right, I did the first 3, I took the best, which is about 81 degrees Celsius. Then I run Asus, okay, which is this. Alright, my picture is okay, which is this, the Ryou 4 SL360. What happened? I only did the first time with the pre-paste, and this is the result. So I am kind of stunned and shocked when I look at the temperature and such. Now, first of all, take a look at the thermal. See, this is at 76.5 degrees Celsius as compared to my Arctic. It's about 3.8 to 4 degrees Celsius lower. Okay, the rest I notice is higher as compared to Arctic. Reason being, right, the system itself is, the liquid cooler itself from Asus is cooling hell a lot, giving the headroom for the processor to pull even more. So when it pulls more, right, the rest of the component will be affected. That's the reason why all this temperature, right, go up. But the good thing is that all this temperature doesn't hit more than 60 degrees Celsius, which I'm happy of. And also another factor that since it's pulling and pushing, okay, pulling more supply, I should say, from all the rest of the component, right, to push the clock speed based on the temperature. Take a look at the speed. You might say it's not a lot, but it is still a lot if you were to do compilation, right, at a stable run. It would, save you heaps of minutes. So That's the reason why I did 6 times for Arctic Liquid Freezer, and I was shocked with the result. This is only just with a one single run. Okay, I'm not done 3 or 4 times. Just the first time when I show you right at the beginning, where I just step the whole, the whole cooler onto the processor itself with the pre-paste. That is the period where I took down these readings. Till right now, I'm still not able to get over it, as in, like, wow, this is fantastic. It seriously beats Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 by a big amount. And if I were to take the big boys, as in like the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3, right, I don't think you will still sustain at this temperature, because from Arctic 2 to Arctic 3, right, with the default fans, right, it's only about 3 to 4 degrees difference. That's all. So I would say that overall, this is a fantastic cooler. I would be very direct regarding about my feedback with this unit coming from Asus, known as the ROG Ryou 4 SL360 ARGB. It is a very expensive liquid cooler, but when I unbox it, it's of a different feel. First of all, it feels very premium. The construction of the block, the fans, the radiator, it feels sturdy. Very, very luxurious kind of feel. And the attention to details, I got to salute to ASUTEC or Asus for having to engrave all those details at the side and the back, inclusive of the block and the fans. The fans are fantastic. The illume on the ARGB effect, right, diffusion, it goes through the side too, because they have done special cuttings at the side of the fan frame. Well done. And the diffusion is all very well balanced. There are no uneven colors and such, and best part, they are very vibrant. Now coming to the screen, a gorgeous screen which display 2K. I was like, wow, okay, this is very sharp. I don't mind to have this as a secondary screen where I can watch some movies and such while playing. Don't have to turn on my main screen. I don't mind that, because this is just like the size of my handphone. But then again, this is not a secondary monitor. Probably Asus would think about it, probably have this as a second option to make it as a second screen. That would be great. And another thing is that with the application, right, though is kind of handy, I would prefer that all these stats will be able to shift around, as in like, to place different stats and to locate them at different location. That would be great. But overall, this is a well constructed screen, very sharp in resolution, and the construction of the housing is fantastic. You can swivel. This is something which I like, based on the fact that sometimes when you mount things at the back, the fan or whatever, right, it obstruct, so you can shift this. And not only this, they have cater for high profile ramps. These are high profile ramps, but yet I still can swivel to the front without any problem. Solid. Now coming to the mounting, again, this swivel point, right, does help a lot. It's not clumsily designed. In fact, it's done with a purpose, so you can just swivel this to see the 4 points, and you can just screw it down. And by screwing it down, right, I was skeptic with the thermal paste, the pre-paste, because there are lots of pattern. So would there be bubbling? Would there be things like uneven pressure or uneven spread of the thermal paste? I was shocked. As you have seen, I have explained to you, testing with my own liquid cooler, I had to do 6 times in order for me to achieve 80 degrees Celsius. Else of this, right, the moment they mount, the moment I test, voila, the results is fantastic. 76.5 degrees Celsius, right, on a 9950X 3D, and it can hover and withstand the stability at a clock speed of 5.125 gigahertz. Fantastic. Else for my own liquid cooler, right, it is struggling to maintain 5.1 gig with all the settings that I've done. So I am utterly impressed with this. Now, some of you might be thinking that, hey, looking at this angle, right, I can only see the top. But don't forget that if you were to place this in the case, right, you're looking at this angle. So a very wise thought, this and this area you can see fully, not a problem. Now besides this, right, something to take note. I was wondering, okay, this is actually a good design as the hose is pretty short, so it makes things very tidy if you have a big case. But I would prefer that, you know, you have a longer tube so that you can place this liquid air at the front or maybe at the side instead of just choosing at the top. This is one thing about me, but if you guys like, you know, to have it short, right, to make it neat and tidy, well, this is a very clean look. And also to the fact that you can't mount this to any of the small case and such, you will need to have a big case. And one last thing that I want to talk about is, with such a big screen, right, kindly do not get a tiny motherboard and such, which you can see right here. It is not justifiable. It should be either a full ATX or a eATX. That's the reason why I illustrate to you using a MATX board. It looks kind of weird with this cooler, but if it's bigger, right, this will stand out. Alright, both performance and the design does check out. In fact, yes, this is very costly, but if you are into aesthetic and such, right, you want all the looks and all the performance, right, this liquid cooler will do it, no problem. In fact, all this while, Asus have been doing very good coolers. Some of the coolers, liquid cooler, right, I was stunned. Like the original like the original Prime LC360, that is shocking. The result is fantastic. Another, which is the Ryuo 3 Extreme, that is also another good cooler. Plus this, I am utterly impressed. So with this said, I'd like to thank Asus Singapore to have provided this unit for me to share with you guys. And if you guys are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you like my content, do remember to subscribe and to click on the notification bell button. And not forgetting, if you like this content, remember to help me to click on the like, and this will help me out. With this said, take care, goodbye, see ya.